All right, let's rock and roll. It's Tuesday, July 23rd. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. Because we haven't had enough rain today, or rain this year. We're gonna get more. But guys, I appreciate. Let me just start by saying this. I was out of town for, I don't know, a week and a half. I was in Wyoming riding horses, fly fishing, doing all the things and I had no cell service. It was probably the most present I've ever been on a vacation. And I had no kids, which is part of the reason why you could be so present. But it was incredible. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Mandy, Martha, Jay, Blake, and the rest of the team who jumped on team meeting last week to have, I think, a really insightful discussion around what people are hearing, what people are saying. And I'm foreshadowing that because you're going to see some things on the August training calendar that are going to give you more insights as to what people are seeing and saying. The other thing is that I've heard, and I've had a lot of conversations with folks over, I don't know, let's just say especially the last 30 days, right? And I want to hear you to hear something directly from me in terms of the conversations I'm having in the marketplace. It's okay to feel anxious and it's okay to feel uneasy about this looming change within our industry. And no matter what people tell you, yes, everyone's wondering the same thing. Okay. And I think sometimes agents are really good at playing a perception game, like they have all their shit figured out. And I'm also giving you permission to say it's okay to not have all your shit figured out, because I think the industry is evolving so fast, and that where the industry is going is there will be extremes. And then what will happen is the industry will settle in, we'll find our cadence, and those that continue to play the game will be able to figure out how to play the game. But the reason why I share this with you up front as a follow-up to last week's conversation is my message to you is to say, it's okay to feel a little uneasy right now. And I think the entire industry is, and that's okay. You are not alone in those feelings. And those that tell you they have it all figured out are bullshitting you straight up. Like, and it's reason being is I've had a lot of conversations with people who feel as if they have to hold things in and that they are, have to show face as if they have everything figured out. And I'm telling you, it's okay that, you know what, we're learning through this together. So foreshadow as to more of what's to come within this morning's dialogue and the training and education. But kicking off, mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Two things I want to highlight this week. And it's highlighting all around how you build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And one of the things, I'm out in Lake Country this morning, and one of the things I know about the Lake Country group is they absolutely know how to live lives worth living. And it's a testament not only to what happens here in October during one of the craziest Halloween festivals, but it also what happens in and exceptional.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but try to play.
Great way to highlight how people can come together, bring their families together, experience their lives together. And the Heartland Street Dance happens right outside the Heartland office. I know we had about 60 to 80 associates, their family, their kids, clients in and around the office at KW in downtown Heartland. And it was a great celebration in a showcase of like lives worth living and having fun and letting your hair down. And that's totally cool. The other one that I wanted to highlight this week is an incredible agent many of you know, and she's always willing to give in small groups, but doesn't always totally love the recognition in large groups. But she has so much to give, and she has experiences worth giving. And one of the ones I wanted to highlight was Sarah Oberbrunner has started a podcast and a small vlog series called the S Club. And Sarah's mission is to share 15 years of retail experience with Victoria's Secret and how she's parlayed that experience into becoming a really, really successful real estate, not only real estate producer, but a real estate, also a very, very successful entrepreneur. And Sarah just launched this project recently, and I think it's a great highlight of what it is that how you give experiences, how you give back, how you share gratitude. And her first episode is with her brother Carrie, who's been a good friend of the program, who's come on to give us good insights is around how we navigate our lives. And so I wanted to highlight Sarah and give a shout out to Sarah on her new project, the S Club. So congrats, Sarah Oberbrunner, on an incredible new project, and we're looking forward to what's to come. All right, with that, we have a handful of people to celebrate in the month of June, those who capped, and I appreciate your guys' patience. Some of the delay in some of our reporting has been through the system conversion that we went through in the month of June, but a handful of people to celebrate. First up, an incredibly dynamic duo. She got into the business first. She convinced her husband to leave a finance job at Milwaukee Tool. They have young children. They have investment properties. I believe they've done a flip or two. Incredible people. Congrats to Mike and Elisa Bolt for capping in the month of June. Next up, out in Lake Country, someone to celebrate who's been here for several years, really running a nice business, spans everything from new construction to luxury and everywhere in between. Tamara Bolton, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, over in Tosa, a long tenured agent within this business has seen a lot of change. Change is a common theme, but has always learned how to navigate change and is successfully bringing her next generation through the business as well. Nancy Brennan, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, our PC out in Heartland, always giving back, a very kind individual. People know I love teachers because teachers are empathetic and compassionate. Mackenzie Brogan, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, very solid, steady. When people talk about you want to be the calmest in the transaction, she exemplifies this. Christiane Camera, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, someone who just goes about her business, grinds every single day. I always see her doing her thing. Bethany Clark, congrats on capping in the month of June. Talk about another person who learns how to balance having 3 kids, young kids, summertime's kind of crazy, has found a way to continue to have continued success in a very competitive environment in the North Shore. Jill Fink, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, someone who's relatively newer to the business, great energy, good contributor to our Lake Country office, Sarah Leeper Johnson, congrats on capping in the month of June. 4 more. This person I would consider to be one of the mother hens of the Lake Country location, always willing to give back, never afraid to share her opinion and provide really solid feedback to myself and the leadership team. Robin McCormick, congrats on capping in the month of June. Next up, day one. This person used to sit with me on Pauling Road out in Lake Country when we had literally 3 or 4 people, me, Connie, Katie Tessmer, and this person, Nicole McGonigal, a mother of 2 boys, always running around, giving back to her family. But congrats to Nicole for capping in the month of June. Next up, over in Tosa, an incredible person, relatively newer to the business, has gotten into business with 2 other people that she loves and cares for, has learned success in getting listings. Renee Newton, congrats on capping in the month of June. And lastly, an incredibly intellectually intelligent person. I love having conversations with the person, has a vast array of wide experiences professionally. Fu over in North Shore on JSG, congrats on capping in the month of June. With that, I'm also super excited to share June results. And we're trying something a little bit differently for June results. So feedback was given, feedback was heard, feedback was received. The feedback was we would always pull results based on the MLS reporting data. This month, we pulled it all off of internal reports via command. So there is some, and we pulled both the command data and the MLS data, and there's discrepancies both ways. I think my message to you is data is always directional. Just remember that. We try our absolute best to get all the data accurate in the most appropriate way possible. And so this month, when you see the data is all being pulled via command based on what is submitted through command. And it's the first month we're doing this. We will refine this to make sure that we improve our systems and processes. And we're doing this in an effort to ensure accuracy of data. So let's jump into it. In the month of June, Home Run Club, mind you, month of June was interesting, right? We've talked about this 2 weeks ago when I showed the lore report and how the month of June slid back slightly. And yet, if you look at the one listing taken, one contract written, one contract closed in the month of June, when June was down 12% versus May, when typically it's up 10% versus May. So it was a delta of 22%. Congrats to Abigail Jacqua, Allison Maris, Amanda Schroeder, Angie Waldron, Annie Jerzyk, Ben Davis, Bridget Ty, Chris Venice, Connie Cummings, Coco, Dusty, Doreen, Ellen Pertel, Frank, Cinto, Gail Zeman, Guy, Holly, Janine, Jay, Jean, Jeff Johns, Jen Ty, Jessica Hanawi, Joey Carini, John Molitor, Julie Leduca, Karen Trimble, Carla Florence, Casey Lopez, Katie Falk, Kevin Matson, Kirsten Miller, Latasha Dawson, Lauren Foy, Lauren Soroke, Lindsay Andrews, Mackenzie Brogan, Marcus Auerbach, Martha Ola, Marybeth Milky, Maureen, Meeks Dietrich of Sarah Jo and Nancy, Megan, Melissa, Michelle Ekstrom, Nancy Meeks, Nicole Wersich, Nick Fetting, Omar Habib, Peter Gossman, Randy Lee, Richard Rubin, Sarah Jo Dietrich, Sarah Oberbrunner, Steph Miller, Steph Connard, Tori Wagner, Tracy Lukic, and Will Stalle. The reason why I read you those names are the Home Run Club is what you desire for. It's when it means you've gotten paid, you will continue to get paid, and you're doing your activities that are showing up in the month of June. And those are the people that you're aspiring to be or inspired by. And lean on those people in terms of the community and what it is that how they're navigating change and what they're doing. Also, this month, we're going to celebrate those who've had their first listing or first closings at KW. So congrats to Angela Palmer, Ben Byers, Beth Linden Johnson, Bianca, David Hisbani, Elizabeth Heinrich, Elizabeth Pasho, Heather Sigwald, Latasha Dawson, Melissa Gluth, Omar Habib, and Sarah Keene. Congrats on your first listing, first closing. Now, percentage volume increase year to date in terms of those who are having an incredible growth within their business so far. Shout out to Melina Cortez, Levine Realty Group, Paul Schmidt, the Wessels, Jean, Carrie Mahal, Bethany Clark, Lori Flatts, Steve Law, Nicole Montalbano, Stephen Williams, Nick Jensen, Anna Pieper, Bianca, and the Brett and Gail team. Congrats for having the largest percentage increase so far year to date. Now, $1 Million Month Club in the month of June. Shout out to Abby, Abigail, Amanda, Annie, Ashley, Ben, Bethany, Betsy, Bridget, Kathy, Chris Finnis, Corey, Dusty, Doreen, Elise, Ellen, Ethan, Guy, Holly, Janine, Jay, Jean, Jill, John, Newbie, Carla, Patty, Steph Minnick, Steph Miller, Sarah O, Sarah Hansen, SJD, Cy, Ross, Robin, Rick Rubin, Rebecca Caulfield, Fu, Omar, Nicole, Nancy, Nada, Melissa, Milena, Sarah Jo and Nancy, Maureen, Martha, Marcus, Mackenzie, Lauren Foy, Kevin Gardy, Katie Hoven, and Katie Falk. Congrats on $1 Million Month Club in the month of June. Now, June individual volume, Molitor leading the way, Jean right behind him, Sarah O coming in number 3, Carla, Bridget, Annie, Bethany Clark, Abby Wall, Nada, Ross, Nicole, Doreen, Mackenzie, Elise, Melissa, Rebecca Caulfield, shout out to Rebecca, Ethan, Betsy Williamson, Chris Fennis, and Guy, rounding out June individual top volume. Year-to-date individual units, Molitor leading the way, Lori Soroke right behind him, Abby Wall, Bridget Ty, Joey Carini, Sarah Oberbrunner, Nick Fetting, Jean, Ethan, Demara, Kristen, Jessica, Lindsay Andrews, Kevin Manson, Dan Wild, Elise Bolt, Mara, Ross Treffert, Sarah Reardon, and Elena Zeman, rounding out individual units so far year-to-date. Now, year-to-date individual volume, Bridget Ty leading the way, John Molitor behind, number 2, Jean number 3, Kristen, Abby Wall, Ethan Masson, Robin McCormick, Lori Soroke, Sarah Oberbrunner, Joey Carini, Kevin Matson, Jessica, Carla Demera, Betsy Williamson, Becky Thomas, Ross Treffert, Elena Zeman, Mark Krieger, and Sarah Reardon, rounding it out for individual volume year-to-date. Jumping over to the teams, team volume in the month of June, JSG, FRG, Stalle, On Point, PPG, Double Bolt, A-Key, Home, Team Trimble, the Nicollet Group, Root River, Duval Group, MTM Collective, Dusty's team, the Gossman Group, Fair Hinton, Fernwood, Levine, Holt, Enlighten, and the Wessel Group, rounding out June volume for teams. Team units year to date, you can see JSG, Root River, Falk Grooven, Stalle, On Point, Levine, PPG, Enlighten, A-Key Home, Dusty's, Duval, Miller Marriott, Fair Hinton, Fernwood, the Gossman Group, Team Trimble, the Wessels, the Nicollet Group, Double Bolt, and Jeff Johns Realty Group, rounding it out year-to-date team units. And finally, year-to-date team volume, JSG leading the way with FRG and SRG behind, with Root River, On Point, Dusty's team, Team Trimble, PPG, Duval, Miller Marriott, A Key Home, Fair Hinton, Double Bolt, Enlighten, Fernwood, Levine, the Gossman Group, the Nicollet Group, the Sayers team, and the Wessel Group, rounding out teams year to date. Guys, I share that with you, and it's a great segue because one of our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives is success results through people. And it's oftentimes, I think we take it for granted, the level of productivity of our community and our peers and how we lean on each other. Again, my theme today is navigating change, how we navigate change, and the level of productivity amongst the group is absolutely exceptional and something that we're incredibly proud of to be able to serve you guys and your businesses. Now, as a byproduct of the level of productivity, also an incredibly exciting announcement is in the month of June, Keller Williams International in total surpassed $2 billion that was paid out in profit share since inception. That's 2 billion with a B. Billion. 2 billion paid out in profit share. And profit share, as a reminder, is cultural. Why? Because we have a vested interest in each other's success. So what you see when you have so many people giving back, mentoring, coaching, consulting, teaching, jumping on team meetings, is people understanding that rising tides lifts all ships. The better that we can all do to raise the level of productivity and professionalism within our industry, the better off our community is for it, and the better off we all are for it. And the byproduct of that is profit share, which made me start to think, what's the impact we've had since inception in the last 10 years? So in Milwaukee alone, specifically, through the month of June, we will have paid out $5.9 million within the local 5-county southeastern Wisconsin in terms of our profit share just in the last 10 years. What I also looked at was who's earning it and how much have they earned? And so what I did is I looked at people's lifetime profit share earnings based on a variety of different tiers. And then I said, how much capital would they have needed to invest in to get a 10% return had they needed to invest that capital to get the 10% return that they've earned, right? Is a way to say, well, they didn't have to invest that capital. All they had to invest was their time, energy, and resources. 71 associates have earned $5,000 or more within lifetime profit share, which 57 associates have earned more than 10,000, 30 associates have earned more than 25,000, 15 associates have earned more than 50,000, and 8 associates have earned more than $100,000 in lifetime profit share, and that is just within southeastern Wisconsin. And so what I tried to correlate that to is just from a little seed to plant is, let's just say you wanted to make 25,000 in lifetime profit share earnings, which, by the way, there were several people that have earned that in the matter of 2 to 3 years only as of recent. Right? They would have had to have invested 250,000 in order to get a passive income stream of 25,000. And they didn't have to invest 250,000. They invested their time, energy, and resources. So I thought it was a cool little way as we surpassed the 2 billion mark across Keller Williams International as a way to say, look, like $5.9 million shared out in the last 10 years is no joke. And there's a significant amount of associates that are really earning this income. And so for that, I say congrats. And that is a byproduct of our culture of productivity and caring and sharing in what it is that we do. Cool. Yesterday was also the 21st, which means June profit share was paid out. We paid out $82,000 in profit share, and year to date, it's $370,000 that was paid out so far year to date. All right. In the spirit of change, I'm going to dive a little deep into training and education. July, we are wrapping up. We have Ignite ongoing in the New Berlin office. So for those of you who are participating in Ignite, it's an incredible group of folks if you want to learn from those, even if you want to drop into a class, and highly encourage you to jump into the Ignite. It is running through August 8th in the New Berlin office. Now, let's take a look at the August training calendar. And the August training calendar is jam-packed, and I'm going to break this down for you in digestible parts. So let's take a look at the first 2 weeks. From August 1st to August 16th, every single morning, we're going to lead conversations with local associates around the conversations they're having in the marketplace today. One of the things we recognized coming out of last Tuesday's meeting is people want to hear diversity of thoughts and diversity of approach as to how they're navigating these conversations. So every morning at 8:30, we are going to start our morning with 15 to 30 minutes, depending on questions and dialogue and engagement. We're going to grab a top producer within our Southeastern Wisconsin metro area and say, what is it that you're hearing with your buyers? What is it that you're hearing with your sellers? How are you navigating the conversations? What objections are you getting? How are you handling them? What does that look like? And we're going to do that from August 1st to August 16th. Now, depending on feedback and engagement, we may continue that past August 16th, but we want to provide and we are going to record these every single day so that you have bite-sized digestible parts every day from August 1st to August 16th around what it is that people are hearing and saying within the industry, and we're leading up to this date of August 16th. Also, I want to highlight on August 16th, we will be hosting Maureen and Friends, and I have an incredible person that's going to be joining us. Her name is Erin Mandel, who lives in downtown Chicago. Coolest part about Erin basically is an individual agent with some administrative support in the downtown Chicago market. She's going to jump on, and also pour in from a Chicago perspective of someone who's doing this business at a high level, not with a huge team, just by herself. What is it that she's hearing, seeing, saying to, again, get you a diversity of thought, diversity of approach in terms of what's going on within the industry? So that's on top of the additional things that we're throwing into the August calendar. I really wanted to highlight the conversations that we're having at 8:30 in the morning on August 1st through August 16th. And then depending on feedback and engagement, we may continue this series into August and September based on what the group desires. So this is just more a bit of a highlight to that. Next up, Mega Camp's coming up August 12th to the 15th in Austin. It's not Average Camp, it's Mega Camp. Interested in learning more around how people are navigating that conversation, highly encourage it. I think it's an incredible return on your investment. I don't think I need to spend much more time on it because many of you have participated in KW events. And I know the return on that time, energy, and effort in those events is always come back tenfold within your business. And likewise, we've also looked into flights and known that flights are relatively affordable at this time of year to head to the Austin area, anywhere between $300 to $450, depending on where you want to fly from. We just wanted to showcase to you that it is really easily and accessible to get to Austin at this time of year in an affordable manner. And I think the return on the investment from Mega Camp and the conversations, especially this year that will be had at Mega Camp, are incredibly fruitful as to how we continue to navigate change. With that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and flip it over to Linz, who's got some tech and marketing updates. Linz, what do these guys need to pay attention to?
All right, good morning, everybody. So we have an important announcement about the KW agent websites. So as of August 15th, the legacy sites are officially going away. Say goodbye to the legacy agent websites and hello to the upgraded agent websites. So starting August 15th, the legacy agent sites will be automatically converted to the new upgraded platform. So any of your custom pages or landing pages, those will be lost and automatically converted to the new site experience. So what exactly is a legacy site? So this is just your website that's through command that was generated for you, anyone who has joined KW prior to September 2023 and is yet to upgrade to the new site experience. So last September, Keller Williams released the new upgraded agent websites. And up until now, you've had the option to upgrade your website. But as of August 15th, that will just be automatic and it'll just switch over to the new site experience. So if you are currently using the legacy sites, just know that you can either go in right now and upgrade, but as of the 15th, it will automatically do that in your account. Your existing subdomain will automatically move over, so you don't have to worry about that. You still claim that subdomain for your website. So there's a lot of added benefits to the new agent websites, and I've talked about these throughout the last, I would say, 9 to 10 months. But there's a ton of customization options within these websites. So it's just a much more elevated experience for your website. And it's exciting that they're finally moving everything over. So some of the benefits, you can customize your homepage, whether that's uploading custom images, adding featured listings. You can actually now set it to where it automatically feeds in your listings to that featured section on your homepage. You can add your testimonials, you can highlight different blog posts on the homepage, and you can create this full-on blog page with different blog posts. So you can create these custom blog posts highlighting different hot real estate topics. You can recap any client events maybe that you've had, talk about your team, your value proposition, and so much more. The sky's the limit with these blog pages. And then you've got custom pages. So there's a fully built out mortgage calculator. You can add a home valuation form to any of your custom pages, a testimonial request form, so many different options to kind of plug and play and create different custom pages for your website. I've talked about this before. You can generate an open house sign-in. So simply search for the listing that you're holding the open house for, and type in /open house to the URL, and boom, you've got an open house sign-in. You can customize your site navigation. You can add preferred vendor partners to your about page. You can even reorganize the navigation menu and choose what navigation menu options are at the top, what shows up under the more menu. And then you can also create those standalone landing pages. I talked about that last month, where you can create those single property landing pages for a listing. So a lot of really great stuff. If you guys are interested in upgrading, or maybe you've already upgraded your website and you just want to learn more about how can you customize these and really utilize this to its full advantage of this website, KWRI is holding a ton of different trainings starting this Thursday through the month of August. So if you scan that QR code, that will bring up a list of all of the different dates and times that they're holding these trainings, and you can go ahead and sign up for any one of those. But if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to sit down with you guys one-on-one and work on your website, work on customizing it, and walking you through the entire process. All right, so talked about this a couple weeks ago. We've got some new smart plans in Command. So if you're looking to really elevate your client touches for the rest of the year, these are really great options to go in and start adding your contacts to. So the Ultimate Buyer and Seller Smart Plan, these are live and ready in the Command Smart Plan library. So it's actually a 6-month long smart plan, both the buyer and seller version. So if you go into the Smart Plan library, search for KW Milwaukee, you're going to find both of these in there. And so it's an automated 6-month long smart plan. Add your contacts. They're getting 1 email a month for 6 months. Some of the topics, the next slide, talking about just articulating your value as a buyer's agent, steps to buying a home, information on financing and mortgages, tips for first-time home buyers, the ultimate guide to moving. And then for the seller smart plan, we've got how to prepare your home to sell, how to enhance your home sale with professional photography, where are buyers looking, and how to maximize your curb appeal. So different topics, different emails that you can send out to your database in Command. And again, 6 months of automated content. And finally, super excited, we've got Jonathan Newby for Social Media Boot Camp this Thursday. So if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, highly recommend that you do so. He's closed 2 deals and has gotten 10 leads just in the last month or so, since he's really amped up his social media game. And he's gained over 3,000 followers since February. So if you want to learn how he's done that, join us this Thursday. It's at 1 o'clock at the Innovation Office. It will be on Zoom as well. So if you can't make it, it's on Zoom and will be recorded as well. So join us on Thursday.
Thanks, Linz. Appreciate all the updates. Guys, something to think about. Leverage is the new hustle. Automate, automate, automate. Lindsay provides so many ways in which that you can automate your business and automate your touch points. Second piece to it, Newbie has an incredible, I've been pushing him to do this for years and he never wanted to get in front of the camera. He's done an incredible job of storytelling. And if you remember, for the last several years and even most recently, I've talked about the power of storytelling that Nike really has made an impact in. And Newbie's been able to translate storytelling very effectively through his social media and highlighting local businesses, local hotspots, as a way to help showcase his storytelling. So if you want to learn how to storytell through utilizing your social media, Newbie's an incredible person to learn from. Join him Thursday at 1 o'clock at the innovation office. All right, both the sheriff, the lieutenant, and the fire chief are off today. So I'm going to give you the compliance updates. Okay. A few things for you. One, new forms are available for you. I know your first question, when will they be available to us in zip forms? I don't have the answer to that because we're waiting on the WRA and the zip forms to upload them, but you have access to the new forms via the QR code that you can see on your screen. You can scan the QR code in order to download them. First is the pre-agency showing agreement for Wisconsin properties. This is now live for you with a voluntary date beginning here now in July. You can scan the QR code to be able to download these, and these should be available to you in zip forms very, very soon. Next, the WRA resources around WRA.org for antitrust. WRA has been very proactive in providing additional resources for the group and want to make sure that you have access to those. In their latest FAQs, they provided additional insights as to how the industry will be changing. The reason why I'm not highlighting them to you is because we've been highlighting them the last 2 to 3 weeks with you, and a lot of this is not very much new information. You can also get CE credit for watching the latest legal updates, so feel free to watch that in order to get CE, because we are in a biannual year, and a biannual year means what? CE is due by mid-December, so make sure you get your CE done. Next, I want to highlight in terms of the spirit of change in the KWRealtyMKE.com website into the agent hub. We are constantly updating the resources around articulating your value. For example, last week, Jeff Glover hosted his Glover U in Traverse City, Michigan. And when he came to us in May, he provided us a very thick script book around how to navigate that. That was the first edition. Last week, he released his second edition that were tried and true scripts and objection handlers. Those are some of the items that you can find around articulating your value that will be available to you in the agent hub on the website. So I just wanted to make the highlight to that as we continue to get more resources and information around change and how to navigate change, we're constantly updating the website in order to be able to get those to you. Sound good? All right, new forms are available here. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, there is a very significant change to the MLS that's forthcoming. One that counteracts the other. Okay. First, on August 14th, the sub-agent commission and the sub-agent commission type and the buyer agent commission and the buyer agent commission type will be removed effective August 14th. We've heard about this, right? MLSs can no longer offer commissions within their fields. However, the MLS effective August 14th will be enabling a seller concessions field. There have been many, many questions over the last several months. How are we going to know if someone's offering seller concessions? How are we as a brokerage going to be communicating it? How are we as agents going to be communicating it? What does this look like? You know what? Despite my opinions of the MLS on a variety of topics, this is something I believe they got right. And what that is they are offering seller offers of concession, yes or no on listing input, seller final concession amount on change sold status, and seller final concession type, percentage or dollar amount on change sold status. This is the way in which the MLS is helping you navigate how to articulate if a seller is offering any sort of concession. Okay, so more to come on that, and we'll help you understand how this will be communicated across a broad variety of our agents. But I think that this is a very, very simple solution that the MLS is offering as a way to be able to communicate seller concessions. Yes, Jean, you have a question. Yep. The question was if they take a listing between now and August 14th, they need to be concerned about this. Here's what I don't entirely know. Here's what I would imagine. I think on August 14th, you're probably going to need to update your listings with the new fields in order to change from what the commissions were that went away to what the seller concessions that are being offered. I need to get more clarity on that because I think the MLS is moving here pretty quick, but we'll get more clarity for that to you in terms of how that works. Sound good? Cool. Also, I want to highlight something. And if you're still on and paying attention, I would ask that you highlight your calendar for Tuesday, August 6th. Corey Lamont from the WRA will be joining our Tuesday morning call to have a dialogue around the pending changes and how the WRA is continuing to navigate it. Stay tuned. There may be an additional guest that I'm working on that also come on that will help provide additional insight for our KW community on Tuesday, August 6th. Sound good? Perfect. I'll wrap it up with a few market insights. This week, I looked at the data 2 weeks ago before I went on vacation. I showed you the lore and I had some concerning trends that I saw within June. So what I wanted to do now coming back, sitting here on July 23rd, was to give you an update around what is going on within the industry, looking at on a week-by-week basis to see if the trends continued from June or if they accelerated in June, deaccelerated from June, or what that looks like. So I just looked at a very few metrics on a week-by-week basis. First, this is the sales absorption rate on a week-by-week basis. What you can see here is there was a deceleration in the month of June. We felt that, okay? The red line is the latest 24-week average on a week-by-week basis. So 11.8% of the industry or of the total inventory went under contract over the last 24 weeks, which is, by the way, the last 6 months. The good news is the trend didn't continue to decelerate, and coming out of 4th of July, we actually saw the tide start to rise again through the first 3 weeks of July. So 3 weeks into it, you can see the deceleration happening basically from Memorial Day through 4th of July, but then the tide is starting to rise again in July. Something I'm paying attention to. Same thing if you look here, this is new units coming to the new unit inventory coming to the marketplace. It was pretty consistent through the month of May through June. Take out the 4th of July week, as it is always an anomaly. But if you see here, you know, we're running on an average anywhere between 550 to 580 on a weekly average in May and June. And then right before the 4th of July, we saw 601, and we always see a dip in the 4th of July, and then it came back at 606 and 532. New inventory maintaining similar levels, I think, is really, really healthy, because my concern was June decelerated so quickly that what does that mean for July and August? So I looked at it on a weekly basis to try and provide you some insights. Lastly, from units going under contract, very similarly, you can see here the peak was probably mid-May in terms of units that went under contract, and then it held pretty consistent around 460 to 470. And then we saw a deceleration in middle of June, and then it has picked back up slightly here in the beginning of July from 430 post 4th of July, and then 453, which is getting back on trend with where it was in May and June. Something I'm paying attention to as we head further into July and further into August. Then you can see here, I always like to look at the gap between new listing inventory and in units going under contract, because it does help us understand how total inventory is being alleviated. The reason I share that with you is if you look at the delta of the gap in the early part of spring, 1st and 2nd quarter, you could see it was really tight. It was almost a 1-to-1, not quite, but almost a 1-to-1 ratio of every unit that came on, a unit would come off. This gap widening in the month of May and June isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just realizing, let's be talked about 2 to 3 weeks ago, that days on market and months of supply inventory is going up, which has created a little bit of a leveling off of price appreciation, but we need more total inventory sitting on the market. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but again, I'm paying attention to the trends as to what's happening within the market to help you navigate your 3rd and 4th quarters. Lastly, I do want to just highlight, Last week, I shared the lure report with the group via email, I believe on Thursday or Friday, with just the latest trends within the brokerage community, the latest trends within the industry. And I did have a very specific question around what's going on with the condo market, specifically within downtown Milwaukee. And so I shared, because people were feeling things, but there wasn't a lot of data behind it. So I did include the condo market insights for Milwaukee County through June of 2024. Here's the really quick synopsis. The condo market, if you're feeling it is slow, it is slow. Okay, you can see the trends are pretty dramatic. There was significant softness in the condo market beginning in May of 24. You can see here from a days on market and months of supply inventory standpoint, because of the softening of demand within the condo market, it's led to a significant increase in months of supply inventory in the short term. I'm sharing this with you because I did send this data out to you on Thursday or Friday of last week, and I wanted to make sure that I touched on it because I included it as an additional appendix within the data that was shared. See, and what's happening is, from a condo market in Milwaukee, the average price per square foot for new units is $221. Yet those that are going under contract is $208. So there's basically a 6% less than what they are coming to market is what they're going under contract for. And so staying on a very similar theme of how I talked about making sure that we're doing our comps, understanding what the competitive set is when you're bringing new condos to the market, is you want to make sure that you're not overpricing them, which is, I think, part of the reason why days on market have got extended. And we're also seeing that new listing inventory and those that are going under contract, there's about a 6% decrease to those going under contract. So my synopsis to the group, and I just wanted to highlight this for everybody from a condo market perspective downtown, sellers have to enter the market with appropriate realization of the current demand factors and impacts it has on their pricing decisions in order to navigate an effective sale. Just wanted to highlight that to make you aware that I pulled that for the group, and I sent that out last week. With that, guys, it's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. Appreciate all you do. I know change is scary. I know anxiety is getting a little bit elevated as we get closer to the looming deadline. Hopefully you saw that we're trying to be proactive in digestible parts for you with the August training calendar to help you navigate and hear from your peers. And I also want you to hear that it's okay to be nervous. Lean on the person to the left of you and lean on the person to the right of you, and we'll help navigate this together because the industry is evolving. Let's rock and roll. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you showing up. Have a great day.